yourself comfortable and ease into your chair, make whatever adjustments you need to make for that comfort level. And notice how your breath begins to slow down, becomes deeper, becomes greater. And once again, open that seventh chakra in the top of your head, willing and open to receive whatever the message is for the day. And today's word is change. So just go to that space and place of either focusing on change or the great I am. There is one life, infinitely present everywhere, in and through all existence. It is the source in which all creation has its being. It is the power that connects and holds all as one harmonious wholeness. It is love, peace, and ultimate good. We are part of this oneness of life. It is our source and our substance. In it, we live and move and have our being. We are all part of this kinship. In the still depths of my heart, we realize that this wholeness of spirit permeates the entire world. We claim the realization of the vision of a world that works for all, where kinship and all life grows and thrives together. Spirit is moving through this life right here, right now, as balance, cooperation, beauty, grace, and reverence for one another and all of God's creation. Gratitude and joy rise up within us as we hold this greater vision for all life everywhere. I release this word of prayer into the divine creation, into the creative medium, and trust that it is already done in the mind of God. And so it is. Amen. Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing on a Friday? Yay, Michael says. Yes, Terry says. Okay, let me bring this around. So who's going to read our definition for us this morning? Hi, Kachina. Nice to have you. Okay, Spring, go for it.
Okay, change, to make different in some particular, to make radically different, to give a different position, course, or direction, to replace with, to undergo a modification of.
Now you can tell that that's a dictionary definition of it. It's not. It's certainly not from Fillmore. Who's got the quote for us this morning? Go ahead, Sandy.
There we go. But all the time there has been no change in the universal spirit. The only change has been in the mental attitude of the individual. He has come into a new thought, a clearer perception of God. The Dory Lectures, Thomas Strohert.
Yep. And who's got the Bible for us this morning? Michael.
Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season and a time, every purpose under the sun.
You know, I always love that whole section in Ecclesiastics on that process, you know, that to everything there is a season and a time. And when that one came up under my listing of changes, I thought, gotta have that one in there. So our affirmation this morning is I adapt easily and am comfortable with change. We all don't deal with change easily. It's a difficult thing to do. So, and I gave you a hard practice this morning or for the day, which is to give up TV for the day. And for a lot of people, that's what did you say, Peggy? You're muted.
I'm trying to unmute. I said it's not hard for me.
Oh, okay.
My TV hasn't even been working well. I don't think I've had it on in the last week and a half or two.
Yeah, it's it can be a challenge for us. So though for some people, you know, I remember my mom and dad basically in those final years, that was all they did was watch TV. Yeah. So anyway, this morning's reading is from Marianne Williams, The Gift of Change. And I thought that was appropriate when I found this one. So the most important thing to remember during times of great change is to fix our eyes anew on the things that don't change. Eternal things become our compass during times of rapid transition, binding us emotionally to a steady and firm course. They remind us that we, as children of God, are still at the center of divine purpose of the world. They give us the strength to make positive changes, wisdom to endure negative changes, and the capacity to become people in whose presence the world moves towards healing. Perhaps we're alive during these fast-moving times in which the center does not hold in order to become the center that does. I've noticed in myself that if something small and ultimately meaningless has gone wrong, I can't find the file I left on the top of my desk. My daughter failed to do what I asked her to do before going to a friend's house. I can easily get rattled. But if someone calls to inform me of a serious difficulty, someone has been in an accident or a child is in trouble, I notice a profound stillness come over me as I focus on the problem. In former case, my temptation is to become frantic, does not attract solutions, but rather hinders them. There is nothing in my personal energy that invites help from others, nor do I have the clarity to think through what I need to do next. In the latter case, however, all my energy goes towards a higher level of problem solving. My heart is in service to others and my mind is focused and clear. When I'm at the effect of the problem, I become part of the problem. When I am centered within myself, I become part of the solution. And that phenomenon multiplies many times over in the force that will save the world. So this morning's opening statement for our journaling is change for me, and go ahead and begin that process. Okay, go ahead and bring it to a close. And anybody come up with something, or would they like to share with what they put down with regards to change, what occurred to them in that process of journaling?
I would like to change. I
Peggy.
would like to change.
Hey, Spring, Peggy had her hand up first, so go ahead and
Okay.
Peggy?
Well, I mean, we've had so much change in the last year with the pandemic, but it really connected me with our previous two words, learning and creativity, and how the change, although maybe not welcome, at least initially, has really spurned a lot of learning and creativity for me. And what was so dramatically different about life compared to just about a year ago is now commonplace. It's my routine is to live the way I'm living now compared to the way I was living then. And finding all the blessings in this lifestyle that has given me so much more time and space and necessity to learn and be creative. And now, we might be changing again as more people get vaccinated, and depending what happens with the new variants, and kind of going back towards something like we had before, but not quite the same. And things continue to change and never really go back to where you were.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Spring, go ahead and share.
For me, change has almost always been gradual, though I often wish it could be otherwise. Now, at this point in time, I think of myself like my plants, my house plants and my garden plants, adapting moment by moment, sometimes comfortably, but always searching and reaching for the light. I'm now giving myself permission to take the sometimes baby steps necessary as I accept change in habit, behavior, and thought. I accept that change doesn't happen by my willpower alone, but can be more rapid if I share the journey goal with others and my God self. Once I do that, it's not or has never been on me alone, and that's a great comfort. This is as realistic as it is optimistic. And now, if I can just remember this as I approach changes I want to make with the patience, calm, and strength I need, gifted by the universe and the one mind that hears and sees and feels and touches all, I go forward effortlessly.
Yep. Anybody else have something they would like to share? One of the things that I noticed as I was writing was my resistance to change becomes the cause and the ultimate effect. Because sometimes when we're forced to deal with a change, like loss of a job, loss of a partner, whatever it is, when we're forced to deal with that, we're not choosing, and so our resistance to that creates a major change within us. And so the longer we resist that change, the greater the effect is upon us down the road. So, I wrote about resistance, my resistance to change in a couple of situations. So, that can have a major effect upon us. Any other thoughts or comments this morning about change? No,
I'll
Sandy.
just say, without it, it gets kind of monotonous.
Yes, that's true. That's very true.
Even if it's comfortable.
I'll share
Okay.
my thoughts.
Okay, Barbara.
Change for me depends on how I focus on the need for change. In the case of the recent loss of a friend who committed suicide, I needed to move from great sadness and an attitude of helplessness to something more productive that would make a difference for the family. Prayer made the difference, as it always does. I did more of it, and my focus changed so I could visit the family.
Yeah. Very true, Barbara. And suicide is not an easy thing for us to deal with. Sandy, you had a comment.
No, I was just going to share mine. I started out the change for me is necessary. I become restless when everything seems to stagnate and be the same. There is an excitement and an exploration of differences and all things new. I realize the often best plan is to let go of something in order to let something new to enter. Often I want to hold on to the certainty of the old while letting in the new. This methodology becomes chaotic and out of alignment with good or God. Change in one form or another occurs without our agreement or corresponding intention. The unexpected, startling change is met with many different responses or more likely reactions. Intentional change is created with creative thinking. It is important to examine our driving intention behind the change. We most likely are trying to get something or get more of something we already have.
Yep. All wonderful thoughts. Michael,
I want to share 7 words from the very top of my writing.
okay.
It's very succinct as I tend to be. Change for me happens along the way. Then I go on, but
Yeah.
I just want to share that part of it.
And
Happens
change
along the
happens.
way.
And change happens a lot of times when we least expect it.
Right. Along the
It just-
way.
It's like that fast that it comes into our, I mean, if we just look at the accident that happened a couple of days ago with Tiger Woods, that's it happened instantly, and imagine the change that will transpire within his life, in the coming months to come, and whether he'll ever be able to return to his profession, which is golf. So he didn't get fired from a job, but he may have lost a job, so to speak. So anybody have anything else before we close out? And who has not shared their prayer yet? Is there anybody who has not shared their prayer? And by the way, don't forget that tomorrow is your day to work on this by, on your own, and the focus is family. And and the other thing that I did want to quickly share with you is I'm going to be making some assignments. We've got about 4 weeks left. I'll be making some assignments and asking each one of you to, I'll be assigning a word to you from what we're going to be working on, and let you find the story for the day that we're going to share, so that it's not just me coming up with the stories. I think it's important that you do a little bit of looking into the different stories that go along with the words. So that way, it'll be interesting to hear somebody's concepts, because I have several books on change, but I immediately went to this Marianne Williams one because I knew that was so relevant to all of us, rather than the technical changes that I could have read about today. So I'll be probably doing that next week, and we'll go from there. So if everybody shared, who would like to pray us out today? Sandy, thank you.
Sure, I will. So let's join one another with a conscious breath, and notice that the breath comes in and the breath goes out, just like our gathering each morning at 7 in the morning. We wake up and we move into this shared space where we explore that which guides us through an awareness of gratitude. Today it is change, tomorrow it is family, but how rich and wonderful it is that we get to share this with one another. So as we're on the cusp of the weekend, we let go of our daily routine with one another, but hopefully we continue this spiritual practice individually, enriching our lives and being more and more aware of gratitude. So with great thanks, I release this, knowing everything is in its highest and best good. And we say this together and say, and so
And
it
so
is.
it is. See y'all Monday.
Bye.